And good Friday morning. It is 11 a.m. here on Friday, January 29th. We are going to be talking about travel, tourism, hospitality, discovering Newport and Bristol counties, and much more. First thing I want to note, because I want to scream it from the rooftops as much as I can, yesterday during the press briefing held by Rhode Island Department of Health, they announced that the curfew, that the early closing guidelines were going to be lifted on Sunday. That is for restaurants, entertainment, gyms, pretty much all businesses, the early curfew that's been in place since November. Word came down this morning that Governor Raimondo is signing a executive order today, ending that today. So restaurants, businesses, etc. You can read all about it on whatsupnewp.com. Can start staying open past 10 p.m. on weeknights and 10:30 p.m. on weekend nights, beginning today. So get out there and support those businesses. If you are one of those business owners, head to reopeningri.com to find out more about that. Some good news, as well as there was a whole bunch of good vaccine news yesterday. Both those pieces of news before we even booked our guest today. And our guest is Evan Smith, who is the CEO and president of Discover Newport. And hi, Evan.
Hey, Ryan. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. It has been a while. How are you?
Well, I'm an optimist, so I always look at the glass half full. Have a lot of reasons to be concerned, but I'm always see the possibilities and the opportunities. And the greater the challenges become, the greater the opportunities become. So I'm an opportunist.
And, we've all been going through this for just about 12 months now. And, yesterday with Dr. Nicole Alexander Scott making a few announcements, the cities and towns making some announcements around vaccine, you couldn't help but feel a little optimistic yesterday.
Each day brings us peaks and valleys, doesn't it? That's what's kind of hard. We get excited and we get excited about some positive news, and then we get slightly depressed, if I could use that word, over some negative word. So we go on this roller coaster, and we've been on this roller coaster for a while. And it's tough because January is not the most inspirational month. But I think there's, reason to celebrate that. I think we can see the horizon from here. And so while we're not in the best position we want to be right now, I think the horizon is in sight for us.
Now, for those that don't know, Discover Newport is the official Convention and Visitors Bureau for Newport and Bristol counties. It's been, I think, since the last time we talked. I don't think we've talked since, but it's been an interesting year. We've talked certainly in the last year, but Discover Newport has made some big moves. What's going on at Discover Newport?
Well, we are a destination marketing company, and when COVID hit, some companies did better during COVID. Some did about the same, and certainly the travel industry was heavily impacted in a negative way. And so that forced us to rethink our whole business model and our business plan. Like most companies, we had to downsize. We have moved into smaller offices, working with a smaller yet passionate staff, and trying to basically at this time remain stable so that we can continue to be a key alliance partner for those in the travel industry in Newport and Bristol County and beyond. So the last 12 months have really been about phase one, which is keeping the company stable and contributing where we can, because this hasn't been the time to actively promote travel at a record pace. It wasn't appropriate, but we've tried to do our part as a community partner to promote the elements of safety and helping the industry work with promoting the elements of safety, wearing masks, social distancing, sanitary washing. All those elements are, I think, important for residents, for visitors, and for all of the employees that work here. So we've been busy, a different kind of busy, but we've been very busy.
Unfortunately, and I hope this doesn't stick with your name forever, but anytime I mention Evan Smith, people want to know what happened to the visitor center. So maybe for the last time, you could just talk about why the decision was made to close the visitor center, and maybe plans, if there are any plans for the future.
Sure. So the Gateway Center was a bold initiative back in the mid-1980s. A lot of people in Newport deserve a whole lot of credit for the work that went into really having that vision of having the Gateway Center. But taking you back to the 1980s, the Gateway Center was envisioned really before computers and before cell phones. And so time and technology have somewhat passed by the need to have a super center the way that the Gateway Center is designed. So in our decision to close the visitor center, the Gateway Center was really twofold. It was a cost economic decision, but it was also with the intention of looking at options for more sustainable, smaller, more resilient visitor services here that would complement what the private sector is doing, but also align it with online marketing, all the apps that are there today, all the websites that are there today. So we're watching right now COVID. Last summer, we used unmanned services. We operated out of our van, handing out literature. Worked reasonably well. Depending on where COVID goes this summer, I haven't made a final decision whether we're going to go unmanned or change to a smaller staff position. We have some options that we're looking at, and we will probably have to make a game time call based on the trajectory of what COVID brings us this summer.
Let's see here. I'm going to let you take these, whichever one makes more sense. People really want to get out of the house. People really want to travel to destinations. I know I'm supposed to go to a couple weddings this summer. Still trying to plan my honeymoon. Some year. So what advice, what thoughts do you have for people that are thinking about booking travel? Should they be booking right now? And maybe we could take that from there. Should people be booking travel to Newport right now? Should people be thinking about booking travel right now to other destinations?
So before I forget, this just jumped in my head. Normally this weekend, our staff would have been at Gillette Stadium promoting Newport at the AAA travel show. And the AAA organization switched that to a virtual travel show today. So if any of our listeners are thinking about that they want to travel, they might want to log on to AAA and register to go on to the virtual trade show to look at travel options. Because this is a time where a lot of people aren't traveling, it doesn't mean that they're not following their desires to travel and researching, as you just indicated. There are a lot of people shopping. They're thinking, will I travel in 21? Maybe I'll wait till 22 or 23. But they're nourishing their souls and their own personal energy by looking at travel options right now. We right now, as you and I sit here speaking, most of the business that we're seeing here are staycations. They're Rhode Islanders or Southern New Englanders who are just getting away for a respite to recharge the batteries. Good for the physical health, good for the mental health, right? So most of the business we're seeing now is staycations. We think that will start to change come May. I think that you're going to see a similar type of atmosphere here as we saw last summer. I think you're going to see quite a few people wanting to travel regionally this summer. I think the question that I can't answer quite yet, Ryan, is, where will we be with our three biggest markets? Where would we be with special events? Where will we be with conferences? And where will we be with weddings? Those three sectors are vital to the economy, and we had none of that last summer, as people know. So I think that as we approach this summer, that's kind of one of the things that we're laser focused on, is what's going to happen with those things. But we do believe that travel, as we progress through 2021, travel will start to recover not at a rapid pace, but it will start to recover. And its recovery time and speed will have everything to do with the vaccination rates that people are going to get. It's going to have to do with how well rapid testing is deployed for people. And I think it's going to also be impacted on whether any of these new strains or variants that are coming from other countries really infiltrate the United States. So it's hard to say because there's so many moving variables right now. But, to your point, it's hard for me not to get engaged with a conversation with somebody and they're looking at something, planning to travel this fall, next year. Their people still very much want to travel. It's just they're confused about what the short-term options are.
And I know you and I have talked many times over the years. I know you're a traveler yourself, and you're probably even biting at the bit over there.
I think that's why I got into this industry, is because I do love to travel, and I think there's so many different benefits of travel that inspire all of us. I can't wait to travel. I'm looking forward to. I know this sounds unusual, but I'm excited to fly again. I'm excited to go, and it's not just my own self-preservation or job preservation. I just love to travel. I love to explore different places and see why this world is different. So it will be very refreshing when more mobility comes our way. It's not normal for us to be pent up like this, and I know a lot of people are struggling both physically and emotionally. But again, I think that horizon for us is going to be sometime third quarter of this year. So,
you mentioned third quarter of this year. Hopefully things get back to normal. I called a restaurant owner yesterday to make sure that they saw the news that they could start staying open late. And we started talking about some of the changes that are happening. And I always say that there are going to be some positive things to come out of this entire thing. We've seen restaurants set up menus online so you can order. You've seen companies like No Contact Valet delivering restaurants from all over Quinnipiac Island. You've seen a lot of good things. One of the things that was passed this week at the Newport City Council meeting is all of the space that Newport restaurants and dining establishments are using right now that they've had to use to expand their services. They can permanently use that space moving forward. So the extra sidewalk space, so there is some positivity coming out of this. I don't want this to be doom gloom. Nothing's happened till third quarter because there is we are reopening and there is some good coming out of it.
Well, I applaud you for your positive outlook. It's much needed by all of us. I think that when I mentioned earlier, when challenges get great, so do opportunities. And I applaud a lot of the businesses for their innovation, their creativity, their passion, their kind of attitude, like never give up the ship, right? And so they're out there battling every day to survive, and it's the health of their business. And a lot of people every day really bring it. And I just want to say to those people, nice job, because some of them have really deployed such innovation and such creativity, and so we want to hopefully. We all should be supporting local businesses, but also saying to them, hang in there and thank you and great job, because many times we don't say thank you or we don't applaud it, and it's much needed right now. So
I feel like going into last February, the off seasons were getting shorter. Things were really, really hot. There were big events coming up. How long are the experts saying out there, yourself as well as everything else you're hearing, that it's good? How long is it gonna take to get back to where we were?
Well, we're having this conversation about trends in travel, and it's going to actually be leisure travel, meaning when people are traveling for vacation and leisure purposes, will be will recover faster than business travel will. People who are convening for conventions, the various different reasons that people convene for meetings and conventions are going to take slower. So it's going to be probably certainly 2022 before leisure travel levels get back to where we were in 2019. And I think it will be closer to 2023 before meetings and conventions get back to their 2019 levels. That comment, Ryan, has an asterisk next to it because this is all subject again to how does the world population react to the vaccinations and what else is happening. So, all these projections that are being made by, research firms and statisticians, they're based on the best knowledge at hand at that time. But those things could be delayed, that could be pushed back if the vaccination scenario that's currently being deployed doesn't happen fast enough or it doesn't reach herd immunity fast enough. There's so many moving variables right now. So, you go with what the data tells you now, but you have to keep looking at the data dashboard to see if that changes on you.
And rapid testing, as well as vaccine rollout, are the two biggest factors in how quick we get things back to somewhat normal this year.
The rapid testing element could really be a game changer for all businesses, but for the travel industry, it could be very important because you could really, for events, for weddings, for conferences, you could basically gauge participation by a rapid test. I know that a statewide coalition of wedding and special event organizers held an event this past week out at Ocean Cliff, and that was to demonstrate how rapid testing could be deployed in the wedding environment. But you could also transfer that to a special event. You could transfer that to a conference. And so I think that one of the next key parts of the evolution of this pandemic for society is going to be how well do we deploy rapid testing to specific applications in different business sectors.
And, we touched base earlier this month when the Newport St. Patrick's Day Parade, the talks started going. What are we going to do? For those who haven't caught on, they're looking at a date in September right now if things are well. We looked at Newport Winter Festival have to move. And I just want to point people to Discover Newport's website because your team, and I assume this is Brittany and the amazing work that she does, and Julie, have put together this amazing 2021 events calendar, which you can see that it was last updated. Let me see if I can move this in. Last updated on the 28th, and they're going to keep updating this as the year goes on here. But if you really want to know what is going on with all the big events, obviously we will cover it on What's Up Newp. But Discover Newport really has their ear to the ground and are keeping an eye on this. And you can sign up for their newsletters and et cetera on there. But looking at that events calendar and hoping that we can get back to some of those events.
So, Ryan, there were two things I wanted to touch on if we have time. I don't know how we're doing on time.
Yeah, we're good.
Great.
So I'm good until I have the mayor at 1.
Okay, good. I didn't know if there was a cutoff time or something like that, but I wanted to help people understand and give a shout out to Erin Donovan Boyle at the Chamber because she has done a fantastic job in leading a task force called Restore Greater Newport. And Restore Greater Newport is a group that's come together of various different trade organizations and marketing organizations. It's comprised of Erin basically as our leader, but it has Molly McGee from Sanidia on it. It has Dale Venturini from the Rhode Island Hospitality Association, Wendy Mackey from Rhode Island Marine Trades. It has Christian Cowan, who I often think of is Polaris, but I think the new name is 401 Tech Bridge. But for our listeners, if you have a minute, check out the Restore Greater Newport website. A lot of organizations have come together to help us through this pandemic, but also to assist the business community by working together. This is the time that we must come together and all work together. And so this coalition has been doing a lot of work. So I just wanted to give all the people who are participating in that a shout out, and Erin for her leadership. I wanted to also go back to a thought that I missed when you asked me the question about the visitor center. When you look around the city, when you look around the island, when you look around the state, you see all kinds of wonderful adaptive reuse. You've seen banks that become restaurants. You've seen schools that become condos. You see firehouses that have been converted into inns and hotels. You have the jailhouse inn, former jail that was adapted, right? You have churches that are adapted as either venues or even in some cases houses. And I could go on and on about the adaptive reuse of architecture. But I also see this conversation for the city of Newport as a great opportunity for them to take a really important piece of real estate and work to create a new future for it. It really served the community well for 30 years as a visitor center, but I think it has a very bright future in an adapted new use. And I know that the city has begun that process of trying to envision what that might look like. But there are some wonderful options and opportunities for the city to take advantage of adaptive reuse right there. And I'm very excited about that. And we here at Discover Newport want to assist the city and the community in re-envisioning that space so it plays the highest and best role for the city and the community.
And I should make note when we talk about reuse, our friends at a Quidnick Community Table every single Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to noon are hosting their winter farmers market in the Gateway Center when it's nice out, which it's not nice out right now. They're indoors when it's cold out, outdoors if it's a nice winter's day out. So Quidnick Growers Market, their winter's market is in the Gateway Center. So speaking of reuse, you can see that happening now.
Thank you for bringing that up. I know they'll appreciate the shout out.
Evan, we didn't mention it when we were talking about travel, but this looks like, guesstimating from way up high, that this will be possibly a full second year of no cruise ships coming to Newport.
Yes, the various different sectors of travel have all been compromised, but certainly the cruise industry has been one of the most impacted inside our own industry. The cruise industry is trying desperately to try to figure out a way to promote or manage safe travel through that platform. And I know that they're doing a lot of interesting research right now about new methods. And I think that's all going to come to light in the next couple of years. But to your point, we normally welcome cruise ships in the fall, in September and October. Will we see them this year? I think the clock is ticking, and I'm not sure they'll get the technology in place to get them moving globally by this fall. It could happen. I'm just saying, I think that it's a question of time to figure out how to move those type of people in that format. And I don't think that they're going to find the technology that they want. I could be wrong, but that's the way I see it.
On Monday we had Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee on, who's the incoming governor, who could frankly be our new governor by the end of next week. I was just looking at the calendar. Any thoughts there? Anything from a tourism point of view? Have you had conversations with his office or anything of that sort?
Well, I think my mind, when you bring that up, I switch to what changes will come to Commerce RI, which is kind of the business division of the state. I'm reading a lot. I've met the lieutenant governor before. I wouldn't say I know him well. I wish him well, and we want to help him and assist him. But really, most of the work that we do with the state is our affiliation with Commerce RI. So we're kind of really waiting to see how Commerce RI will change, if they change at all. Will there be any position changes? Will there be any changes in policy? I watched the news just like you do, and Dan McKee's platform is about small businesses. So it'll be interesting to see how he deploys resources in that regard. So we want to help in any way we can as Discover Newport, but also as the Restore Greater Newport Alliance. We want to make sure that, he's got a tall order in front of him. Talk about stepping into a difficult assignment. He's going to need a lot of help from everybody. And I think this is a time that people have to be able to step up and help out wherever they can.
Absolutely. I know a lot of small businesses have high hopes for him. And he's, if anybody missed it, we had a great conversation for about 45 minutes on Monday. And we wish him, everybody should wish him the best of luck as he serves out these final 2 years with some of the biggest challenges. When I called that restaurant owner yesterday, he said, this summer, even if the same restrictions go in as last summer, could be better because at least they know they're coming. Last year they were completely swept off their feet with all these events and big things planned, and at least they know how to plan and kind of how to work through this now. So I think I wanted to share that as things are tough, but restaurants, hotels, businesses, are planning for it. I believe they are optimistic. Get out there and support any of the ones that you can. And, you put it in a note, and I think we could all use it, and I think it will be good if we think of this summer as health and wellness for ourselves and try to do things locally around that.
Well, I think that like last year, the key to this summer, people are going to be looking for outdoor experiences again. And that's one reason we did as well as we did last summer, was people were leaving metropolitan areas and wanting to come to places that were smaller and you could feature a lot of outdoor activities. We did, I thought, the industry, every restaurant, every attraction, every recreational partner, et cetera, did a fabulous job last year. But this year, we're going to have to continue to not only offer those same outdoor experiences, but we're going to also have to look at, there's new things that we can offer. I think that people are going to be very focused on their health. If nothing else, COVID's really made us incredibly focused on our well-being. And so I think in the weeks and months to come, you're going to see people working on their summer product offerings with packages that feature wellness elements and good health elements and outdoor recreational elements. I think that's very much going to be the call to action this summer.
Excellent. Evan, did we miss any topic, issue, thought from you or Discover Newport today?
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity to come on your show. I think that moving forward, we want to continue to be the best destination marketing company we can. We have, I think, repositioned ourselves in a way that will allow us to do that, given the resources we have. We want to focus on digital excellence. The travel industry today is very much about cutting edge in terms of the digital space, and we want to focus on doing that. This whole journey, if I could call the last year that, Ryan, is going to give us an opportunity, I think, to educate the island community and beyond more about who we are as a company. Discover Newport is, I think, better known outside of Rhode Island than it is in Rhode Island, because most of the work that we do is outside of Rhode Island, promoting people to come here. And it's one of the unusual parts of our kind of business existence or business acumen is that we're better known outside our state than we are with inside the state. And so I'd also like to use this time to help people better understand that we are a sales and marketing organization first and foremost. That is our primary mission. And we want to be the very best, as I said before, destination marketing company we can. But we're hoping that people will look at us differently, because while our services in the past have been first rate, so many people just thought of us solely as the gateway center, okay, which is only a small part of what our company is. And so I know our team is looking forward to reaching out and connecting with other organizations and residents and communities to help them understand more about our company. We are excited. We are, I think, in a good position to move forward. We have to be patient. We're doing everything we can to stay on the line with best practices that are going on. So I feel like, the last 12 months have been spent well getting ready for the next 10 years for Newport 2030. So,
and Discover Newport represents Newport County, Bristol County, but I'm just wondering if there's one thing or a couple things where residents, business owners, locals of those counties, maybe call them all Rhode Islanders, can do to support the efforts of Discover Newport, if that's too tall of an order, but just to help bring back the tourism hospitality industry better and quicker than ever. Is there anything that we can all do that live here, because that industry plays such a huge part in our everyday lives? Anything we can do to help?
We are an industry that's based on mobility. And so right now, the best thing that people can do is shop locally and support local businesses. They can support trade organizations. They can support the chamber. They can support all the wonderful trade organizations that are here. But one of the best things that people can do is also, when they're ready, is to travel. We need to build consumer confidence in people's inclination to travel again. And we're going to continue to be at a disadvantage until we can get more people traveling again. So this is a question of when everybody's going to have a different thermostat of when they're ready to travel again. But hopefully, through all the various different scientific and medical progress that we're making, we'll get people traveling again. But it's also, I think I would add to that, Ryan, is understanding the important role that this industry plays, along with all the other industries here, the defense industry, certainly, manufacturing, marine trades. All of these industries play a critical part to the island economy, to the state economy. But one thing they all have in common is that they all need mobility to perform. And so, again, kind of defrosting and getting our society moving again is going to be the platform. But in the meantime, to your question, it's support local businesses and support local organizations.
Excellent. Well, the website is discovernewport.org. People can go on there and find out a whole lot more that you, as well as your team, have a whole bunch of industry specific information, as well as just general event calendars and updates, and a lot more there. So discovernewport.org. Evan, I really appreciate it. And hopefully we can get out there traveling again.
Yep. We want to invite you and the listeners too, if you happen to be in the Long Wharf Mall and you're walking around the Long Wharf Mall. Our new offices are pretty much right above Brooks Brothers, not Brooks Brothers, excuse me, Joseph Banks, and right behind Panera Bread. And so we're up on the second floor of the Long Wharf Mall. So if you're in the neighborhood, come knock on the door. We'd love to show you our new offices.
Yes, and I got to come see you. I haven't been to the new office yet, and we'll check you out. And once I'm comfortable enough to book my honeymoon, I'll be in touch and see what tropical hotspots you're recommending at the time.
I feel for you, my friend, and I know that you were one of thousands of people who got caught in that time warp. But don't give up on it. It's going to happen. So.
Oh yes, just patience is key. Everything happens for a reason, and like I said, good things come out of it, and that's all we can do is be optimistic right now.
Well,
so
again, when challenges are great, opportunities are great, and we're very excited about building a new 5-year and 10-year plan for the recovery of travel. And so we move on, we move forward, and we move upward.
That's it. All right, Evan. Well, thank you very much, and we will chat with you soon. Hopefully, here we'll have some more announcements coming down the line, and we'll keep in touch with you through the spring here as we look to summer.
Thank you for the opportunity again to come on the show and talk travel with you, and also hopefully get the community to understand a little bit more about us as a community organization and a community resource. So we appreciate that opportunity very much. Thank you.
All right, Evan. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
We'll see you. Stay well.
All right. I want to thank Evan Smith for joining me. Again, he is the president and CEO of Discover Newport. You can find out a whole lot more about Discover Newport, discovernewport.org. And you can do that there. If you missed any portion of this interview, you can go back and watch it on our website, on our YouTube channel, or on our Facebook page. Share it with your friends, family. You share it with your friends and family from out of state, and let them know that we're working on and we're moving in the right direction to get people traveling here again. And so we'll be there before you know it. Programming note coming up here at 1 p.m. We will have Mayor Jean Marie Napolitano with us, and you can find that video up on whatsupnewp.com as well. Thanks for watching.